So if student scholar is validated everything, then it is the right choice to go for this. And in that case and circumstances or scenario, supervisor has to take the consent and give the consent with a condition.
Sir, there is a scenario that I have observed where there is a difference in the ideas of a scholar and the ideas of the guide. Like the guide is thinking somewhere and the scholar is thinking somewhere. So the
Okay.
scholar, so what happens ultimately that the scholar has to drop his or her idea and work according to the ideas of the guide. So my point is to till what extent it is okay for a scholar to sacrifice his ideas and work according to the guide, or they have to, or the scholar has to, force his ideas on the guide, or don't say anything, or to what extent this kind of compromise should occur.
Yeah, it is quite evitable, right? In the because according to me, both the parties are not mature enough to understand what should be the project title, topic, research, right? Because if you take the example first from the supervisor side, supervisor has not experimented that research, isn't it?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Technically, socially, ethically, legally, whatever you can call, right? Now come back to the scholar. A scholar came with some of the idea. Okay, sir, I want to do on this area. That is my interest. Okay. So that is good to keep the interest. But if that interest is validated and properly, thoroughly researched through literature review or the guide, I have mentioned one thing, connection. If, if the student is clear to how to make the connection of this dialogue with the job, then it is okay. Then he or she can convince the guide or the research board, university research board, URB is there. There are different, uh, staff research committees there. Okay. There are different committees. Sometimes these things go to the forums for major dialogue. Everybody contributes. Okay. And people should contribute actually based on their experience, based on X, Y, and responses. So if student scholar is validated everything, then it is the right choice to go for this. And
Okay.
in that case and circumstances or scenario, supervisor has to take the consent and give the consent with a condition.
Okay.
Okay, if you are agree with this proposal, okay, I can wait for another 6 months. Let's check. That is
Okay.
the generosity of the supervisor, because the supervisor is helping, because the supervisor also need to understand, because that is a generosity that okay, somebody has come to you and giving you some his or her idea. I think it is our duty to shape that idea, right? As a faculty, as a professor. But if the idea has no, or it is not sounding great and it is quite weak, or there will be no fruitful publication, because supervisor and research scholar, they look at everything from the publication end.
Yes.
Because ultimately publication is the lock
Yes.
of
Yes.
getting award at the PhD. Without publication, you can't get the PhD. And this is the condition these days. People want 2, 3 papers published so and so based on the guidelines given by in India,
The
given by
university.
AICT from time to time. So with condition, I think 6 months is good to test the idea,
The
isn't it?
ideas. Yes. Yes.
And
It
six
is.
months is not too much. That is also there. But some fair idea, I think both the parties can make the conclusion.
In
And
the
if
six
guide
months.
is giving, then student give the 6 months to the guide working on the same problem. Okay, sir, let's understand. Then supervisor or both the scholars have the opportunity to look at, check on different backgrounds, check at their own connections. Even supervisor can also talk the same research problem with their peer group, or whosoever he or she believe that okay, they can help contribute and give guide.